Everyone, welcome back to our channel. And if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm going to be just going through the steps of creating custom units for your clients. This is especially for you guys that are starting out. I know the struggle, how hard it is in the beginning trying to figure all this out. So just kind of just bring you guys along the steps of me creating this custom unit. And on top of that, I'll just throw in, some tips, a little advice for you guys to help you along your journey. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first part of this video. So measurements are really important when it comes to creating custom units. And, you should always encourage your customers to take their head measurements. And today I'm going to be creating a unit for my customer. She's a size 21-inch circumference. So I have the 21-inch circumference head right here. And I'm going to place the cap on to this canvas head. And if you're not using the ruler system, you should definitely give it a try. It definitely made my life a lot easier when I did do this system. It does work. So I'm going to go ahead and place my cap at the starting point. And then once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and put my cap into the other measurements. So her front and nape is a 12-inch. So I'm going to stick the back part into the 12-inch mark. And then the nape area is a 4.5. And the tempo measurements are a 14.5. My tempo to tempo measurement goes to a 14. So I'm going to take the cap and pull it a little bit in front on each side, because whatever you do to one side, you want to do to the other. You want everything to be symmetrical, so everything needs to be even, and so your wig can turn out nice and even. So once I get that into place, I'm going to go ahead and start adjusting the cap. And I do have wigs caps for sale on my website, as well as adjustable bands. If you're looking, you can definitely visit my site and get those. I have affordable caps. And once you're done with putting your measurements into place, if you have any extra cap like this, you want to make sure that you take it out before you start to sew. So you can either pull it to the front or you can pull it to the back. I'm going to go ahead and pull mine to the back today, and I'm going to sew it down in place. And you want to have a lot of T-pins handy, because that definitely works. You don't want to overstretch the cap when you're pulling the extra space out. You want to just pull it just enough to get rid of the space. So my cap is nice and flat now to the canvas head, and I'm going to sew down that space. Sew down the extra cap. And once that's done, my cap is ready for me to start to move to the next step. My cap is nice and ready, it's time for me to place my lace piece. I'm going to be using a 5x5 closure, and I'm going to take it and fold it in half so I can find the middle mark, and then I'm going to place it at the 4.5-inch mark on my ruler that's on my canvas head, because I want my lace closure to be a 1/2 inch in front of the cap. The wig shouldn't be at your hairline, it should be right in front of your hairline. And I'm going to use my rulers to help me to place my lace. And I'm going to go ahead and take the back part. You can see it's nice and even. And I'm going to take one corner and I'm going to pull it out and back. Oh, I should say back and then out. And then once it's nice in place, I'm going to get the hair out of my way, and then I'm going to sew it down. Now this part is optional. You can actually outline it if you like and then sew it down after you're done with your wig. I like to do it this way. This is the way that I do it. And once I start to sew on one side, I stop in the middle, and then I start on the other side and meet back in the middle. So the next thing you want to do after you're finished with that is just to make sure that your closure is laying completely flat. You want to make sure that there's no lumps, no bumps in the closure. So after that, I'm going to start drawing my guidelines, and you want to practice drawing your guidelines. This is going to help you when you're sewing on the machine. It's going to help you, to lay your tracks nice and even and good. The more even your tracks are laying, the more nice your wig is going to look. And you want to make sure that you're drawing enough lines. So if you need to map out your bundles, you should go ahead and map that out to make sure you have enough lines. All right, so after I'm done with that, I'm going to start to double my tracks. So you want to make sure that your tracks are close together, but not on top of each other. So they should be nice and parallel to each other, because that way, if they're laying on top of each other, it's going to be bulky when you sew it down to the cap. So you want to just make sure that they're nice and close, but not on top of each other. I also have a video showing you guys how to triple tracks if you need to add more hair. Alright, so my cap is ready to go. As you can see, the lines are already curved on the cap. When you're drawing out your guidelines, you don't really need to curve your lines. They're going to automatically curve because of the curvature of the canvas head. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay my cap on the machine. So one thing you need to determine is how you're going to sew. I sew with the hair towards the inside of the machine. You should practice that to see what you're comfortable with, if you're comfortable sewing that way or with the hair hanging off the other end. And I'm going to take my first track and I'm going to place it at the end. I'm going to do my back stitching, and then I'm going to follow my line all the way to the other end. So I'm going to stop for a second just to show you guys my needle. When I'm sewing, I want my needle to go either right over the top track or at least inside of the top track. And I want to make sure that my needle is not pulling excess cap. Your cap already shrinks with each stitch, so you want to make sure it shrinks just a little with each stitch. So you want to make sure that you're not adding to that. So you want to make sure that your needle is not grabbing too much cap, causing more shrinkage. And I'm going to back stitch my end, and your back stitching pretty much it helps secure your track. Lay the end flat to the cap, and if you do it correctly, it can also seal off the end. Since we're cutting the tracks, we want to make sure that the ends of those tracks are not shedding. And I'm going to go ahead and pretty much do that for the remainder of the wig. I do have a detailed video if you need to see a full video on how to make a wig on a sewing machine. You can go check that out. I do want to mention that your posture and everything matters. Your hands and everything matters. You want to make sure that your hands are not tense, that they're nice and relaxed, and that way that the machine is gliding your wig through. You shouldn't be pushing or pulling your unit. It should be gliding through with ease. You want to make sure that you're positioned correctly when you're sewing. You don't want to be high over your machine. You want to be eye level with it. You don't want to be sitting high up on a chair and then your machine is on a coffee table. It's not comfortable. You want to make sure that you're always comfortable. You'll always get the best results like that. Okay, and my unit is pretty much done. I'm going to take my unit and just cut a cap from underneath the lace. Make sure that I take my time and do this. I don't want to cut the lace by accident or cut the thread that's behind the lace by accident. That's it. The wig is done. It's still stretching. Everything is nice and good. And now I can move on to my styling. All right, so that's going to be pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to give you guys you know, a little advice and little tips to help you along your way. And I'm going to be styling the video for styling the wig for the rest of the video. You can watch to see how I created the bang unit, how it came out. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, as always, as usual. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.